So I started interning with Amazon in April of this year and ended up building 2 GenAI products until August, which was when I finished my internship with Amazon. It was a really great step into GenAI and program management and project and product as well, and so it gave me a really great insight to a lot of different things. But after I'd received the offer, after I'd gotten through my interview and assessment stage, and before I actually started the role, because I got the offer in February, but it's sort of like a blanket offer and you only really start when they have availability, so I had a big gap until April, during which I was trying to find resources to give me a better insight on what Amazon would actually look like and what the internship would entail and how to start on a good foot and hit the ground running. And there were all these questions I had, and I really trawled the internet for lots of resources and YouTube videos and articles, and I couldn't find that much, which is why I ended up writing on Medium about my experience. But one of the articles I wrote in particular was what week 1 at Amazon looks like, and I thought that I would divulge what I shared in my article, just to give a little bit of an insight into those who might be starting their Amazon internship anytime soon and are kind of curious as to, well, what does the beginning look like and what can I be prepared for? So obviously there is day 1, and that is essentially like starting school for the first time. It is very much an onboarding day. So obviously I got dressed into my sort of smart casual. Amazon will brief you on the dress code, which is very much casual. Depending on the region, it's more or less casual. So London would be one of the smarter locations of the smart casual dress code. But I had, for example, in Australia and in the US, they're much more laid back. So I showed up to reception. My only instruction really was to meet my manager. So I sent a little note to my manager to let him know that I was waiting downstairs. I waited downstairs for a little while. This was actually really great because I met another intern who would go on to be a really great friend throughout the internship. So we happened to be starting on the same day. And I kind of expected there to be like a cohort, but this might have been because I was starting in April, it was super quiet. And there weren't actually that many interns starting at the same time, or we didn't all show up to reception at the same time on the same day. So that was something that maybe I wasn't quite expecting. Interns really do start literally any week throughout the year, depending on the team and the availability that they have. So I obviously got my badge. I then went upstairs, met the team, got settled down, and it was really just administrative all on day 1. So it was getting everything setting up. I obviously had to go to IT, which at some point you will end up having to go to. So that took a long time, particularly because it's the first week back after a bank holiday weekend, so there are lots of people there. And then I got a tour from about the office. So the London office is really big, so they call it LHR 16, so that took quite a lot of time. And then got to say hi to people who were in the area as they came and went. I got set up on their onboarding system. So this is essentially where you have like a study portal and you can learn about the company and different things. And then you also have, things that your manager has set up for you to do. So if your manager has set up for you to complete a certain course or to watch a certain video or maybe to read something, as you do them, you'll complete the task and then you progress through. So your manager will have personalised an onboarding checklist for you to do. For everyone it's completely different, it's in completely different orders. Some people might have loads of tasks, some people might have no tasks at all, so it really varies. But one thing that everyone will have to some extent is a Meet the Amazonians. So this is opportunities for you to connect with people in your team, in the wider org, with other people, just to have 15 to 25 minute chat to get to know them, their career journey, and ask any questions. So this was actually a really nice way for me to get to know my wider team, just because we are kind of scattered all across Europe. So there were a lot of people that I didn't have much interaction with at all, but who had very different career journeys. And so coffee chats is something that I tend to do anyways at internships, but this was a really nice way just to get the ball rolling on that and meet people from all parts of my organisation. So that was something that I've really enjoyed and that you'll definitely be doing. 2 per day. Obviously you have to schedule them out during your onboarding period, and outside of that, with the materials you're given on your onboarding program, it really depends how much time that will take. I had intern friends who were doing onboarding for a really long time, like the first 3 weeks, and hadn't really started anything, whereas for me it was quite a speedy launch into my projects. I got a rundown of my projects on my first day in terms of what my deliverables would be, what milestones I was going to be hitting, and what they essentially wanted me to achieve. That said, Amazon runs on a very ambiguous policy, especially for interns. So a lot of it was, you're going to have to figure out how to hit this milestone. This is the end product, or we want something that can help solve XYZ problem, but in terms of where to start or what resources there were or anything like that, it was all kind of, we want to see how you figure that out. And that's something that has really been everyone's internship experience. When I left, I had so many calls with interns, especially incoming interns, who were being like, I don't know what's going on, it's very overwhelming, it's very confusing, the ambiguity is really hard to navigate. And I had a lot of conversations with interns about that, because it's something that they implement sort of on purpose into the internship experience. So that's something as well to really keep in mind. But essentially I kind of got that on my first day, and from the end of my first week was already starting on my first project. So it was a much speedier intro. That said, again, I had people who, for the first month, who were working on introductory, kind of at your own pace, more based around e-learning and smaller tasks, as opposed to maybe big projects straight away. So it really depends what team you're assigned to and what you're going to be doing during your internship. But yeah, so it was mostly onboarding. It was mostly meeting with other interns. I think for me, because I came at a quieter time of year as well, there weren't any in-person intern stuff happening, but previous interns who were already there were organising weekly coffees, so that was really nice as well. And then it was essentially volunteering, besides e-learning and other resources that I could find, as well as just trying to wrap my head around the resources they have internally, what products they have internally, and just navigating their internal systems. So yeah, anyone who's about to start their first week at Amazon, best of luck. And yeah, it really depends on who you are assigned to in terms of what your day-to-day is going to look like, or hour-to-hour is going to look like, but it will be mostly onboarding, so best of luck with the internship.